Hello and welcome to the Racing Revolutions podcast. I will be your host Alyssa Kellen to give you the rundown with the F1 world, including race weekends, championships, and so much more. Now on to the Spanish Grand Prix. With rain falling during practice session number 3, earlier on in the day, and continuing throughout the Formula 2 race, it initially looked like we would be seeing a wet track surface for qualifying. However, a break in the weather mixed with the warm temperatures meant the circuit quickly dried up. Eventually, more rain arrived before Q1 got underway, and loads of the drivers headed onto the track to get a lap in on the slick tires, with the chance of showers at around 30%. Almost immediate drama came as Tsunoda lost control of his car over a damp patch and spun as he exited turn 11, with Bottas and De Vries doing the same a couple minutes later. While Alonso ran wide at the final corner and Alex Albon went off at turn 5. With gravel sitting on several parts of the track and needing to be cleaned up, a red flag was shown. Gasly set the initial benchmark of 1 minute 14.618 seconds as Hülkenberg lost a time for exceeding the track limits. When the action resumed, the current world champion, Max Verstappen, posted a 1 minute 13.660 second lap with Piastri slotting into second from Ocon, Zhou, and Sainz, who survived a near miss when he approached a slow-moving Gasly at the penultimate corner in an incident that will be looked at post-qualifying. De Vries spun again coming out of turn 11, but the rookie seemingly got his act together next time around as he jumped out of the drop zone and left Tsunoda, Russell, Albon, Sargent and Leclerc in danger with 6 minutes to run. Following an off-track excursion at turn 1, Leclerc reported that something was wrong with his rears. The Monegasque then called into the weighbridge on his return to the pits, piling on the pressure ahead of what would be an all-or-nothing final run. At the opposite end of the timesheets, we saw improvements as Hamilton came out on top with a 1 minute 12.937 second lap time, just under 4/10 clear of Norris and Mercedes teammate Russell, followed by Sainz, Hülkenberg, Ocon, Gasly, De Vries, Verstappen, another to lose time behind Gasly, and Zhou. Piastri managed to drop down the order into 11th, but still made it to Q2, along with Alonso, Stroll, Tsunoda, and Perez. Bottas and Magnussen could not follow their teammates through to Q2, dropping out in 16th and 17th, with Alex Albon being the other driver to fall in Q1, alongside Leclerc and Sargent. Q2 began and Verstappen continued where he left off, by clocking a 1 minute 12.760 second lap on a fresh set of soft tires, with Perez coming into second. Hamilton also lit up the timesheets, 0.239 seconds down on Verstappen, with Alonso, Ocon, Stroll, Russell and Gasly also slotting between the Red Bulls, and Sainz and Zhou holding the final passes for Q3. This leaving Norris, Piastri, De Vries, Tsunoda and Hülkenberg in the elimination zone of the final sequences, which saw Perez run wide at turn 5 and sliding through the gravel. Verstappen wrapped up the top spot once again, finishing ahead of Norris and Sainz, as the Mercedes banged wheels on the main straight, leaving Lewis with front wing damage. Ocon, Piastri, Stroll, Alonso, Gasly, and Hülkenberg were the final drivers to make it through to the last stage of qualifying, with Perez missing out after his trip to the gravel. Verstappen kicked off Q3 with yet another effort with a new set of soft tires, getting down to a 1 minute 12.272 second lap time, almost a second clear of his rival Hamilton, as Hülkenberg used his one and only shootout run to go third. Alonso also went for a single flying lap, rising to P4, but there would be no change at the top as Verstappen bagged his 4th pole of the season without needing to complete a second lap. Sainz and Norris placed 2nd and 3rd, followed by Gasly, who was on his way to the stewards for the blocking incidents with Sainz, Verstappen, Hamilton, and Stroll. Verstappen controlled the race straight from lights out to the checkered flag to put in his 5th win of the season, and his 3rd triumph at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, while further increasing his lead in the championship standings. Mercedes pulled through to take a double podium, with Hamilton surviving a clash with Norris on the first lap as well as overcoming an early battle with Carlos Sainz. Russell worked his way up to the podium from 12th with a series of overtakes. Perez put up a solid recovery drive after starting 11th to move to 4th, just missing out on the final podium spot to Russell after a charging final stint, with Sainz completing the top 5. Alonso was unable to pull off another podium, with a run to 7th on home soil, but with teammate Lance Stroll's 6th place, Aston Martin still bagged a solid haul of points in the championship. After his podium finish on the streets of Monte Carlo, Ocon had to settle for 8th, while a 5-second penalty was given to Yuki Tsunoda for forcing Zhou Guanyu off the track. This resulted in the Alfa Romeo of Zhou and the Alpine of Pierre Gasly rounding out the points. Charles Leclerc also gained a spot from Tsunoda's penalty but was unable to score points. Tsunoda slotted in ahead of Piastri and Nick De Vries, followed by Haas Nico Hülkenberg and the lead Williams of Alex Albon. Norris was also forced to pit for a new front wing after an incident with Hamilton at the start and fell from 3rd to 17th. Verstappen's win means Red Bull will continue their unbeaten streak to the start of their campaign, with the reigning world champion moving 53 points clear of rival and teammate Perez in the race for another driver's title.